Hey everybody, this is Jesse Hunt, your recreation therapist. This is one of the funnest activities I've found, or the simplest ways to start recording your life story. And you do so in 3 to 5 words, and we'll get to that. But the goals for the day is to learn a quick and easy way to record your life stories in 3 to 5 words. By the end of the PowerPoint, we will be creating a few index cards to start collecting stories from your own life. So why do we want to write our own story? Number one, I think that writing your own story is just a way to capture the lessons that you have learned throughout your life. It's a way to record your personal history, and it could be a way to inspire your friends, your children, and your family, and even a stranger. So in essence, it's a way to leave a legacy. You can share your failures and lessons learned throughout your life. And it's also to capture moments only you know about, only the things that you've lived through. And sometimes it's just fun to record your stories. So let's start the journey of recording our life lessons and the things we've learned. Okay, so first, as we start writing our own stories, it's about looking back at your life and thinking about some of those earliest memories that you have. Think of even the memorable events as you look back. And go as far as you can back into your life and start capturing those moments that matter to you. These include the good and the bad, but it's always best to focus on the things that are positive for you. But go back in your memory and think about those earliest memories. When I go back, I can look back at even memories from the 3rd grade and think about those. You can think of cool things that happened in grade school. So start with those. These memories should trigger a few words that can serve as a title, and those are what I'm talking about when I say a life story in 3 to 5 words. So when I look back and think of a cool memory I had in the 3rd grade, it can be learning to play with others. Learning to play would be a good 3 to 5 words. And then think of a story related to that. But it's best if it's an actual story from your life. So when you look back, write down that 3 to 5 word prompt that comes to your mind related to that memory. This will serve as a reminder to you later when you decide to start writing and record the story fully. Another small hint is after the 3 to 5 word prompt, you could add one sentence about what the story is about. If your prompt is good enough, it should trigger the memory. So that is pretty much the goal with this whole practice: is go back into your memory, write a 3 to 5 word title, and a little reminder if you need it. Okay, so one from my own life is a memory is called, my 3 to 5 words, or even 2 words, was neighborhood rivalry. So in the 6th grade, me and my friend were playing basketball at a friend's house. And as we were playing basketball, an orange came flying over into the court and smashed on the court. We were like, what the heck? So we ended up, grabbing some fruit and vegetables that we had and throwing them back at whoever threw them at us. Eventually in this story, this neighborhood rivalry ends up going really bad. What started out as an innocent food fight eventually ended up in someone brandishing a gun. And so that's the synopsis of what happened. But my 3 to 5 word title for this could easily be many things, but I like backyard food slingers. So 3 words, and then I can start writing the full story, which would probably take a page or two. But we'll just start with the 3 to 5 word prompt. And then you write it on an index card, put it in a file or in a little cube, and save it for later. So that's the beginning of how to record a 3 to 5 word prompt. So what stories can you remember? So what stories are you remembering? Make sure you write those down now and easily in those 3 to 5 word prompts. Okay? And then if it helps, maybe share the story with somebody, and then just keep practicing, going back in your memory, thinking of childhood memories, in writing those 3 to 5 word prompts. So by the time you're done with this today, you can probably remember 5 or 10 stories. And that's the goal, and just keep going with it when you have free time. Okay, let's try another. Okay. Well, basically, as I described, when we have those 3 to 5 word prompts, it's going to end up prompting a full story later. The first goal is to capture as many memories into these prompts as you can. Using the index cards or a system that you like, you will then have a place to start writing stories from your life. Establishing a daily or weekly habit of writing these stories down and then doing it in your own voice is just a cool way to start writing your life story. And then writing down the lessons that you learned from those experiences can be a good example for others when they read your story. So basically, you would just continue to go through your memories until you have created a series of cards where you can write stories from. You're basically just creating writing prompts for your life story in a relatively pain-free process where we thought, oh, I can't write down my story. This is an easiest way that I can imagine. You'll then have plenty of stories to fill a book, or if you recorded it to a CD, it can fill that CD. Or an audio, you can read it out loud to somebody. This would be a great gift for children, family, or friends. And so I would really encourage you guys to think about doing this. And just as we think about it, storytelling in children, how much of an effect did stories have as you were a child? But they also have an effect on adults too. But when you have a pocket full of your own personal stories, you can teach other people better. Children love stories, and what's a better way to teach them than from your own life? Or what's a better way than teaching a friend something important than teaching from your own life? When you think of the lessons, you can almost always find them from life around you or in yourself. So just think back, what stories affected you as a child or as a teenager or even as an adult? Do you tend to identify with characters in the story or a movie? I know I do. So what effects do stories have on us as an adult? I think they have a huge effect. People tend to learn best by stories, and stories also have a different meaning at different stages of our life. I can read the same story in a book at different stages of my life, and it means completely different things. So that's why it's important to write your own stories, and you are important enough to have stories to tell. Now, a quicker version of doing this is, instead of just writing a bunch of prompts from every memory that you can remember, it would just be to start with one. So going back all the way to the 3rd grade or whatever grade you want, even the youngest memory you can imagine, start with that. Write the 3 to 5 word prompt. And then for this quicker version, you'll just go straight into writing about the prompt, just writing the story down immediately. And so you can do this more in a journal format instead of index cards. So I'd start with a lined notepad and basically write the 3 to 5 word prompt and then immediately write the story. And so it's easier just to grab a notebook and start that. The goal is to think about the experience and get good at writing a 3 to 5 word prompt title for your story first. And then this is all you really need to start writing. Just write the story as you remember it. Be honest and open about it. Don't hide the details, but get real with it. And be kind of descriptive so people know how you were feeling and what was the smell of the event or whatever. Your next stage is just to work on that story later or to add more detail and give it in your own voice. So trying it this way with the journal it pretty much starts the same. Find that prompt, find that early memory, and then what came after that. Ask yourself what's next, and then what happened. Those things will help you write your story. Keep writing down as many memories as you can. If you get efficient at it, all you need to do is review the memory in your mind. Then think of a 3 to 5 word title. This is all you have to do initially to start writing your own story. Okay, so in wrap up, I think this is a simple way to capture our whole lives in story format. It's something that is really fun to do when you have nothing else to do. Instead of watching TV, you can think of some 3 to 5 word prompts from your life, some stories from your memory, and even some things that taught you lessons. And then just write those down and record them in little prompts. Okay, 3 to 5 words, and then when on another day you can pick one of those cards out at random and finish writing the story. So that's kind of the goal. You'll first start with prompts, and then the end goal is to write the full story. And so you'll have a collection of stories pretty quickly if you do this with your life. And I think it's rewarding, and also could be therapeutic for you to look back at some of the memories that you have and some of the lessons that you might have learned. There's one thing I heard before that's just called, we all have these ups and downs in our lives. And so when you look back at stories, you can see either your innocence or the things that happened, and you can look back at it with a different eye now that you're an adult. And so that's something that can be beneficial as well, is just looking at things that have been hard and being more compassionate towards yourself and others of the things that happened. And sometimes these things might be hard. These stories might be hard, and that's a good time when you should talk to somebody about it, a therapist that can help you walk through these things that you might experience. So good luck with this. It's a really good idea to start capturing your own life, because you do have a story to tell that's worth telling. All right. Have a great day.